welcome back to Building with the Boys. Exciting! After a very long wait, 2 months in fact, we have got another issue of Ecto1 arrived. Now, Ecto1 is a labour of love. Now, I love Ecto1, I adore it, I like the model. I don't particularly enjoy dealing with Eaglemoss anymore, ever since the nonsense has been going on there with shipping delays and now the hiked up shipping charges. But we're not going to focus on that, we're going to focus on this. So what we're going to be doing in this one is we are going to be adding the interior ceiling panels to the chassis. We're going to add in our first roof lights, some windscreen wipers will be going onto the vehicle, and that's about it. We're doing some of the interior ceiling lights as well, the holders for them rather than the actual bulb itself, that's already in. This one's got me nervous, I'll be honest with you. So issue 31 and issue 32, which is coming up, are the two where I think if something's going to break, this is when it's going to break. I think the chances of shearing a wire off or snapping something is going to be high in these, because we are flipping this car a lot over the next 2 issues and it is getting heavy. So in this one we're going to have to install 2 little lights, then flip it onto its roof, which runs the risk of breaking these lights. So I'm going to try and formulate some sort of crude soft jig to relieve some pressure from the roof if I can. And that's the plan. But it is looking really rather lovely, and we are at that strange stage now where this one's pretty much complete, because once we've done what we're doing today, there's very little else left to do to the interior of the car. We are just bolting stuff to the outside of it, so by next month the vehicle itself is pretty much complete. But anyway, we'll get into it, we'll take a look at what we've got to do, and we'll go through each stage one by one. So here is everything you get inside pack 115. As you can see here, we have our windscreen wipers, which we're going to put together and attach those to the chassis. And then we have what's going to make our 4 blue flashing lights on top of the vehicle. We've had to remove wires from the vehicle to do these ones. Now, if I show you something on these. Okay, so they're asking us to remove wire E in the instructions. To me that looks like a little M. That doesn't look an E at all. So there was a bit of confusion there. And then the other wire they're asking us to move is L. So you need to unplug those from your vehicle. And again, this caused some confusion. I had to plug the lights in to see which ones are actually going forth. On mine it looks like a little M. I appreciate that could be an E that way, but there already is an E on the car. Eaglemoss. Right, so we're going to what we're going to be doing on this one is we are going to be creating the bulb fitting and then inserting each of these bulbs in and covering over with one of these blue pieces. So we have completed these bulbs, brought the chassis up to make sure they are working, because anytime you're bending about these wires to fit in the back of these things, it's always worth checking you don't snap something and you're still working. So I don't want to attach these to a roof and find out later the bulbs had it. So those are looking fine. We've got 2 more of those to do and then we are done for this stage. Well, I say we're done with this stage. We've got the windscreen wipers, then we're done for this stage. So there we now have all 4 of those made. Now they want us to disappear the car and work on the windscreen wipers. Here are the components to create the windscreen wiper. This is the arm, this is the wiper itself. These are the tiniest screws they've given us today. These are RP screws. It's just going to slot into this when it's built, but I'm going to get out, I've got a Aware PH00, which is really small, and I think that's going to be what I'm going to need for this. I'm not going to be able to film myself doing this because it's that small. I'm going to need to put massive lighting on, and I'm going to need both hands. So here are our windscreen wipers complete. You know what? It wasn't so bad. I had to use a very tiny headed screwdriver to get the tiny screws in, but you know, it wasn't so bad. That was the easy part. Now is the hard part, because I'm going to have to bring the giant frame up here and we're going to have to start flipping it about and getting very small screws into it without breaking anything, which well, that's going to be easier said than done. So we're going to try and attach these to the frame. Let's see how we get on. So here we have the fairly gargantuan chassis of the the frame of the Ecto1 up on the workbench. It is massive. I mean, it is huge if you've not seen this before. I mean, I'm 6'4", to give you an idea of just how big this thing is. It's massive. But we're done for this this part. So we've got the lights fitted there, and we have the lights fitted here, and we have the windscreen wipers on the windshield. Put some masking tape just to hold pull the hood down. And I don't mind telling you, that wasn't fun, right? That was not fun. There's a lot of needless flipping of the vehicle advised. You don't need to flip the vehicle. Okay, to do any of this, you don't need to flip the vehicle. If you can hang your bonnet off the end of a table, it's heavy enough that it's not going to be top heavy. You can come in straight from the bottom and attach your windscreen wipers. You can do exactly the same thing with these. If you've got a small enough screwdriver, you can literally open the driver's door and go in and screw in there. And you can do exactly the same thing with the rear ones. You can open the boot and go straight up, or you can hang it off the table like what I did and go straight up. You don't need to flip this vehicle. It's getting too heavy to keep flipping. Unfortunately, I think now on the next stages we are going to have to flip it, but it means I don't have to flip it, you know, 2 or 3 more times than I had to. The plan is that I'm going to put these ceiling panels together, flip it once, and that's it, because I'm worried that flipping it is going to break these very fragile top lights. So that's it. So we're on to the next stage, and we are doing some interior ceiling panels. So here we have everything that comes with pack 116. So we got our first piece of interior ceiling panel and some visors, some sun visors. That's it. So we're going to be touching some sun visors to this piece, and that's it. Thankfully, no flipping of the vehicle in this part. Okay, so what we need to do in this part is we need to take one of these trims and attach it to the top part of this wing visor here. What that's going to do is that's going to create a channel for a hinge to go through. So here's the first one that we've done. We'll put the 3 screws in, and it will. I don't think the camera's going to pick this up because it's very small. No, I don't think so. There's a very small hole on here that will it will create a it's created a channel for what's essentially a hinge. That's going to be one of these poles here to go through. So we can then attach it to the actual piece of ceiling itself. So we're going to finish this one off and add these hinges, and we'll take a look at them. That's both of those complete. We've threaded the metal bar through and just create these little pins at the end here. There we go. Relatively painless. Now, the one thing I would advise is if you are doing this is loosely put these screws on. That goes in, no problem at all. Then tighten them after. It'll hold the pin in. Next, we're going to attach these to the ceiling panel, and we're going to hold them in with a hinge. There we are. That's that part done. This is the worst design. It's terrible, but you know, works, right? So we've got the things to go there. But honestly, putting this together, not fun. These pins, you literally got to balance them and then screw a part in, which wasn't easy, but you know, I managed it. So that's that part done, and now we're moving on to the next part, which is more ceiling panel. It's part 117, and this is going to make a CB radio, which is going to attach onto the piece of panel we just made. So we're going to make the radio itself. This wire here, we're going to coil it so it looks more like almost like a phone cord, CB cord basically. And here is the brace that's going to attach to the roof, which is going to attach to the CB. Then once we've done that and we've installed it to the ceiling panel, we are going to install the ceiling panel into the car. So let's crack on, see what this turns out like. So there's the brace put in that's going to hold the CB. I actually quite like that because it's broke up some of this dark of the ceiling. It's given because it was just pure black. So I mean, you think, well, why not just paint the interior of the vehicle black if you're gonna but this breaks it up. This makes it look quite pretty. Okay, so CB radio next, and then we're going to fit it to this brace. If I can just show you this, what we've done is we took a very straight wire that came with it. We have coiled it around our screwdriver, because what should happen now is when we take this off, we now have what looks a bit more like the flex for a phone or a CB receiver. We have a little CB, so we put this together. We put all these little buttons had to be put on. We made the handset, and there's our coiled wire. You can see it's actually looking quite lovely. Now we're going to touch the brace in the ceiling, and the ceiling is going to attach to the interior of the frame. So with our CB radio now attached, you can see what the ceiling panel looks like. That's what it would look like inside the vehicle. We have our visors there and our CB. Lovely. That's everything we get in part 118. We've got these parts to make what are going to be the cases for the ceiling lights and our last piece of ceiling panel. I'm going to assemble this inside the frame that I've got up here because I have no intention of flipping it a third time. That's the final panel complete. So we put these two light cover cases in that hole. The interior lights, this wire here will get hidden by the partition wall, which is going to slot in there, and that is one of the first parts of next month's issue. So that is it for stage 31. That's complete. And there it is, doing its thing, the fruits of our labour. And around the back, get the same thing going on. So that's it, that completes issue 31. The first one we've had in a while. That was tough, not gonna lie to you, that was tough. For some reason, the flashing blue lights on top, whenever we plugged in the second set, the first set would fuse, would just trip the lot, so it wouldn't come on. Had to take the casings apart. I don't know if wire was pinched or what, but took the casings apart, put them back together, all start working again. So if you have that problem, that's what I'd advise you doing. The sun visors, that is a ridiculous mechanism. You've literally got to balance the two pins to screw that in place. That took way longer than it should have, and I've seen people say they glued it. I completely understand why you glued it, but I persevered, and it's on as it should be. It's looking lovely now. I mean, with the flashing lights on it, I can see this is starting to come together. Now, I know next month, I know what's coming the month after that, and the month after that, and also the month after that. So I know what's coming right up to stage 35. So next month in stage 32, we get the partition wall, which goes between the driver's section and the rear of the vehicle. The first two parts of next month, so the first two parts of stage 32, we build the partition wall, put that together. That slots into the top of the cab. You have to take some of the trim off to access a column that it's going to screw into. Once we're done with that, we are then attaching the frame to the chassis. That's not going to be easy. I've seen the instructions of how to do it, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. If you're going to shear a wire, that's where it's going to happen. Because there's nothing really in the ways of a wire tidy or anything like that. It just says, don't pinch any of the wires. I'm like, where's all this mess of crap going? So it's kind of up to you to hide all these wires. Masking tape, I think, and just poking it into the channels that you've got, get that all out the way, slot it on. You get the two pipes next month, the two blue pipes on the side of Ecto. All the wires for the kit on top run up through those pipes. So you have to feed 3 wires into the one and 3 wires into the other. They then plug into the car, feed up to the roof. And any wires that are currently on top of the roof will feed down. We build, that's issue 32. Issue 32, the car will be assembled. But then we're not touching it again for 2 months, believe it or not. Because once the car's all assembled, you are adding the spotlight as well. So the spotlight is going on there, wing mirrors go on as well. But then once that's done, the month after, in issue 33, we're building the gurney. So the entirety of issue 33 is gurney. That's all it is. And it doesn't complete the gurney. So the gurney is complete in 5 parts. So issue 33, all 4 parts, you make 90% of the gurney. Well, 80% of the gurney. And then in pack 34, you get the final piece of the gurney. You get the front light bar, so you get everything that's needed to make the front light bar. Now that comes with motors, and it also comes with a lubricant, because we're going to put gears in, so you can lubricate the gears. I'm quite happy about that, because if you've ever heard the noise the Blitzway flashing lights make, it's horrible. It is just gears grinding gears, and it is a noisy beast. I don't know what this one's going to be. This one could be really noisy, it could sound really mechanical and grindy, or it might be practically silent. I don't know. We're not going to find that out until it happens. But there is a lubricant in there to keep those things moving and keep them kind of, I'm hoping, silent. We'll see what happens. You get the first half of the second light bar in issue 34 as well. And then in issue 35, you get the second part of the light bar. So by issue 35, both light bars will be complete. The car will be put together. Then we start building the gear rack for the roof. So we will have the rack completed. I don't know if it attaches to the roof or if we build it all up and then attach it to the roof. But yeah, it's the gear rack and some of the gear that goes on it. Then that leaves us only 2 issues, 36 and 37. We'll only have, yeah, we'll only have 10 parts I don't know about. There'll be 11 parts, but the last issue of this, I guarantee it will just be a dust cover. That's all it'll be. Issue 141 will be a dust cover, guaranteed. So the 10 parts, I'm not sure what they are. They're going to be the ladder. I know that's definitely going to be one of them. The aerial will be one of them. The 2 large green tubes, I don't know what they are. They've got on the side of Ecto. That will be one. So, well, there'll be 1 each. Some light bars and some other bits will easily make up those missing 10. And that's it. And I mean, again, as painful as it's been to deal with Eaglemoss the past 6 months, I love Ecto1. I just do. You never forget your first love, and this was our pandemic project when the whole world went nuts and no one knew what was going on. This was regularity and normality to us. Me and the boys used to lock ourselves away in here and build little bits of the engine, and it's what kept us going. Whenever we sort of dipped or were thinking, God, I miss everything, we'd come and build a little bit of Ecto1, and it made us happy. So you never forget your first love, you know. So I know next month's going to be tough. Once that's done, I think all the hard parts are pretty much done. Famous last words probably, but I'm pretty sure once we've actually attached it to the body, we'll be good. The rest of it doesn't seem overly complex. If you like that, please give us a thumbs up. If you're enjoying the channel, hit the subscribe button and you'll see every single issue of Ecto as it comes through right up until the end. We should have Iron Man and R2-D2 this week. Root Master, I believe, will be next week. We've got more Disney Doll's House coming. We've got more Titanic coming. And we've got some of the other little wooden builds that we do. And also the kids' channels as well. So if you're enjoying it, as I say, give us a like, give us a subscribe. And if you hit the bell, it'll give you a notification whenever there's a new video out. Enjoy your weeks. If I don't see it before then, in a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. We'll see you next time.